Such a beautiful man.
Oh, thank you, man.
You can hear that
Yeah.
nice and good in the
Which,
microphone.
just FYI, one thing you did turn me on to is, pause for effect, matte screen protector on my phone.
Yes.
I got one of those. That is top tier.
So
matte
much
screen
better.
protector. No like fingerprints.
Nope, none.
And
Look
it's
at that.
not like,
Get that reflection in there.
and sometimes I got
Beautiful.
some greasy fingers because blue collar guy here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's nice. I really like it. So kudos.
Takes
on
like a little bit of the sharpness off.
That's okay though.
But who's like displaying stuff on their phone? That's why we all have computers for.
If you're as good of a photographer as we are, they're already
Exactly.
super sharp
The
anyway.
photos are
it's
so
like
sharp,
They
it's
need to
actually-
be toned
this
down a
helps.
little bit. Yeah. Keeps us humble. But no, I did notice that, just the sharpness being gone just a little bit. Just
Yeah.
in everyday usage. But
I
I
take it
like
off.
how it's not so blaring in your face
Mhm.
anymore either, like the image of the phone.
Yeah, I take the protector off sometimes because I shatter them on occasion.
Yeah.
And every time I take it off, it's like, shoot, like my phone is like 8K now. This is crazy.
Right. Thank you guys for joining us today. Today is episode 2 of Conversations with Creatives. We are joined today by Kaden Creative, one of my good friends. He is king of reels on Instagram. I like to think his stuff is insane.
Maybe he used to be.
No, I still think you're still the skill, like one of the most skilled reel editors I think I've ever seen.
Appreciate that.
And some insane stuff, like videos with tens of millions of views that popped off, and just insane work, and also really great photographer too. And so today we are going to be sharing 3 photos that we took, and Kane's also going to be sharing 2 reels that he filmed with us. And obviously I'm going to be sharing 5 photos of mine too, telling the backstory of it. And we'll talk about the gear that we use during them, and just go in depth into the art that we create. So let's start off with our gear check. What gear do you use for your video and photo?
It's a weighted question, and it's hard to explain to people without making me seem like I've been in this longer than I have. Because I have like a different cameras, and like I have multiple gimbals, multiple drones, multiple camera bodies that I use.
His gear
for
closet
different
is
shoots.
insane that you just walk into. It has so much gear.
Well, and I have access to a lot of equipment that I'll use for things. So if I'm like shooting for billboards and whatnot, one of the first cameras I actually bought was the A7R4,
Great camera.
which super amazing. Love that. I sold it to my dad because he had an FX3. I started to do more video. He started to do more photos. So we're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's
So our
just-
series are not good for video.
no. So we just swapped. And so now I shoot mainly on the FX3. That's been my camera of choice for the last 3 years, ever since it first
Still
released.
insane camera. It's
Yeah,
so good.
Unbeatable. I
Yeah.
don't think there's a camera.
Literally filming Hollywood movies on the FX3.
Yeah. And I run the Atomos Ninja 5 with it.
Okay.
And so I can shoot ProRes RAW. And it basically, as far as a single person would want to go, as far as like professional
Right.
shooting.
Yeah.
Shooting,
So you get to the point of
yeah.
renting Aries
Yeah,
or something
like
for
it
big
is-
scale
it is
projects.
as close to a cinema camera
Mhm.
as like a solo filmmaker
Right.
can get to.
And for pretty accessible price too. Like what, they're
Yeah,
like $3
and it's-
grand, under $3 now?
Yeah, the Atomos
something?
Ninja 5 is like $500 or $600
Yeah.
for the new one, and the FX3, you're getting it with the whole XLR input and everything. It's like $4,000 max if you're buying it brand new.
That's insane setup.
So
for what you
45
get.
under $5,000,
Yeah.
you can get the FX3.
And just
and
get a good
that
lens
setup.
for it and you're set.
Yeah,
Buy some cool like anamorphic or something with it, and you'd have
Yeah.
an insane cinema setup.
to someone starting, it sounds like it's still like, oh, that's a lot of money. But when you look at cinema cameras and you're like, oh, I can get like an FX3 body with the capabilities to shoot ProRes RAW on a really nice lens for under $10,000, all of it together, like that's pretty
It's
insane,
insane.
considering some cinema lenses are $50,000 a
Right.
pop.
And if you market yourself, like you'll pay that off within
Yeah.
the year or more, like probably a couple months if you have the skills to use it. So
Yeah. So if I'm shooting like, if I need that big, because I think it's like a 62 megapixel, I'll shoot the A7R4.
Right.
Other than that, I mainly shoot the FX3, and then I have an A7 IV that I use as my hybrid, which like it sets up and I use it for a display. If I'm shooting like a desk YouTube video or I'm just need like a webcam, I usually run that camera. And then if I'm shooting photos, I use that over the FX3 because the FX3 is not a photo camera at all.
no, 12 megapixels.
Yeah.
But even if you
No
can use it
viewfinder.
like, no viewfinder, no, it's not a good camera for that.
No.
But that's why some people will go with the A7 S3 because you still get almost the same equipment. Like you don't have
Yeah.
the cooling and like some of the different features, but you can still maybe take photos with it. Kind of. Like I know
Yeah.
some people that run the S3 and use it as a photo camera because when you're posting to Instagram, you don't need 60
Yeah, 12
megapixels.
megapixels
you
is
know?
not bad.
Yeah.
But the body style is more favored to photography than the FX3.
Yep.
But being able to run an A7 IV and an FX3 just makes an A7S III obsolete because the FX3 is better than the A7S III in video. You can display like internal LUTs and all that stuff, have all the same capabilities of dual native ISO. And then if you want to shoot photo, you've got the A7 IV.
Yeah.
And it's
which is great camera. That's what I'm shooting this on right now. Can't show off my gear because this is what we use to record it. But A7 IV with the Tamron 28-75 lens. Great setup. I got my camera for $1,700 and the lens for $600. So
yeah,
about $2,500 for an insane photo that takes all the photos you see on my Instagram. Great setup.
Yep.
I just switched to Sony. You convinced me. From there, I came from Canon. So
I've gotten a couple other people. Shout out to Luke Yates too. I got him to switch from Canon.
Sony's just so good. So I've had like, I think 5 Sony cameras now and like 4 or 5 Canon cameras. And it's been terrible for my bank account, but just constantly swapping between systems and going back and forth. But I'm really happy with this setup right now. What lens do you run? So 16-35?
Yeah. So for photos, I have like an assortment of primes, which kind of irrelevant. And I mainly shoot on the G Master 16-35.
Great lens.
Version 1. I need to upgrade it.
Yeah.
But.
Is it worth it? I would almost say just go to it's the new F2, the 2470 F2.
Oh yeah,
insane. That's insane. But you probably want the 16 for.
I like the 16. I like to get super wide. Yeah. So that's part of the reels and things that if you haven't seen what I do and you see it here in this video, everything is shot super wide, and you'll see why because it requires a lot of After Effects and punching in. And
a lot of cropping. I've tried to use your footage to edit some stuff, and you want the wide. You don't want to be tight, especially with all the tracking that you have to do. Yeah, and the cropping that you have to do for some proper tracking in After Effects.
It's harder on a gimbal to shoot tight too, at least for this style of like orbiting shots. Tight on a gimbal is really nice if you're just doing panning and you don't need to track stuff.
Right.
As soon as you get into tracking and try to like really work with your footage and do any type of time remapping, then
especially with cars when you're doing something that changes color and hue as you're moving, the tracking software is just not gonna do good for that. Like if you have a color shifting car, it's not gonna track very good. You need to have a solid contrasty point to even make it work.
Yeah, there's tricks of the trade, but we could spend way too many hours talking about.
Go to his join his Discord if you want ideas on how to edit like he does. I'll link it down below. Are you still on the Discord?
We're rebooting it like in a week.
So. Okay, so by the time this is up, it should be ready to go. So join his Discord if you want to learn how to edit like him, because I'm still trying to figure it out. After Effects is such a dense.
There's a reason I've been full time in this for 3 years now, and I'm still just barely starting to figure things out.
Still learning stuff. Yeah, I remember the first video I edited, reel that was 15 minutes with your footage. I spent, I think, close to about 15, 16 hours editing that.
Yep.
For a 15-second thing, just learning how to just basic track on After Effects. It's so dense.
If I had a Discord tracker that showed me how many hours I've spent in calls, and a lot of people use it for gaming and they have numbers racked up that way, but just me sitting in there editing, talking to people, trying to figure stuff out, it's like in the multiple thousands and thousands of hours just in the last couple of years.
That's why you're as good as you are now, though. Putting in the time after, the 10,000 hour kind of rule, Yeah. It's true, but.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I say let's get into our photos now. You want me to kick us off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Zach's
see.
a better photographer than me. It's better to start with him.
First off, this is going to be my first one, but it has 2 photos tied with it, and we'll throw it up on the screen for them. So we have this one of Garrett's AMG GT and a pair of Yeezys with the license plate that says Sneak Easy. Not sure if you guys can notice if it wasn't obvious yet, but massive sneaker wall behind us.
We are in Sneak Easy.
We are in a store called Sneak Easy, which is an awesome sneaker store. And the owner of the store, this is his Mercedes AMG GT that he trusts me, let me take for the day, which was really cool of him. And
I forget that he had that car, but it is like number 27.
That was such a good car. But he sold it. Did he sell that for the GTC Lusso?
Yeah, I think he sold that, and I think he went straight to the Lusso.
Yeah, he got the Ferrari after that. He bought, if you guys know Stradman, bought Stradman's GTC Lusso, straight pipe V12 Ferrari. But we had this AMG GT first, and this was his first supercar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is his first supercar. Yep. And he let me just take it out for the day, and we took it to the Idle Falls airport, and I was just sitting there waiting for airplanes to take off. And I caught this airplane. In this photo, the airplane was a bit higher, so I cropped it out and moved it down a little bit because the angle was just so extreme. It is a real plane, but it is fake placement of the plane. And of course, to advertise the sneaker store, my buddy that was there with me had a pair of Yeezys, so I told him to pop them off, go barefoot, and let me take a photo with the license plate with the Yeezys, and just to give Garrett a cool photo because that was pretty close to when Sneak Easy opened.
Yeah.
It was pretty close to the start of it. So I just
The
wanted to
funny
give him
thing
a
is
cool
that's
photo.
when I started working with these guys too. And so like that was Garrett's first car. It was the first car for a bunch of them because I started working with Chandler Smith, who he at the time he bought the green Huracan that Garrett now owns.
Yeah.
But it was
He had the
that
458
weekend.
before then.
Yeah, they all went down to Utah, and I was just like prepping some stuff. I was just up here by myself working on things. All those guys had gone down. I get a phone call as they're coming back up to shoot some stuff with them because they all bought supercars that weekend.
Right. Yeah, no, all the guys here in this building have really awesome supercars, and I would say like half of them bought them from Stradman.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Mostly Ryan Garrett.
I think every one of his cars from Stradman. Yeah.
Yep. Because he bought the Shelby Baja Raptor, the original purple C8.
Right.
And then he also bought the wide-bodied C8 that he now currently owns. He owns that and the Raptor still.
Okay. Yeah, like pretty much
Garrett got
James
the
is the
Lusso.
supercar distributor to Idaho Falls, Idaho, essentially. But yeah, so that was just being cool here in Sneak Easy and Garrett's first supercar and my first time driving AMG GT, which is such a great car.
Oh, yeah.
I actually fit in them really comfortably. Not sure you can tell size-wise, but I'm 6'2" and a huge
Garrett has a
dude.
way of finding the good-fitting cars.
Yeah.
The Lusso was immaculate.
Such a comfortable
This
car.
one was comfy.
Best sounding car too, the Lusso, with that
Oh, yeah.
straight pipe V12. Insane.
It will be missed.
Yep, it's gone. But yeah, so that's my first submission. Garrett's AMG GT with some
Sick.
sneakers.
Beautiful.
Let's see what yours is.
This one,
First one.
I think this was shot on the FX3,
Okay.
but this was the first car that I ever got, like the paid shoot that I had
Okay.
doing
That's
video.
with Jake's 350Z.
Yeah, you
That's a
right?
race car that he likes to take on autocross.
Yeah.
That was I used that car for the first time I ever took nighttime photos.
Mm.
Like actually did like light painting and lit up the car
Sick.
and
I
like
think you
added
had sent
all.
me that when you did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So that was the first
Yeah.
car I shot like and did some stuff. It was in that same location too.
Yeah, so I had taken a couple of the guys' cars. Like Ryan let me shoot the C8, but it was really like unofficial. Like I think he paid me like $100 after we posted the reel or something. But this was the first one of like I posted a couple videos after those guys bought those cars, and then he reaches out to me on Instagram. It's just in a comment section. Is like, dude, this is so sick. Like, what do I have to do to have you do an edit like this on my car? And I was like, I mean, I work full time with Chandler, just doing his YouTube stuff, and I'm just shooting their cars for fun on the side for these reels. That I had like some inspiration for people that I wanted to get into reels and whatnot. But I didn't even really know like some of the people that really pushed me in the industry. I didn't even know them yet. This is super early on. And I was just like, you know what, let's do it. So I gave him a price. I think it was like $300. I was like, hey, like I'll come just shoot a bunch of photos of your car. I'll edit a reel. Call it $300. We'll get it done. And so it's just kind of fun. I was going through my Instagram when you were like, hey, like let's put together some of these. And I was like, yeah, you have to talk about this one because it's fun to see like where you started.
Right.
And
Which is an insane photo to start too, because I think like the caption on the photo, it's like you can't over edit something too much because the edit on this is just crazy.
I pulled it
you know?
over, and
Yeah.
there's the raw image, which was legitimate raw. So you have to edit a little. It's not like
sure.
not completely fake,
Yeah,
but
with the
definitely like
sparks and I think it's fun. It's a really cool edit.
yeah. But that's just it's fun. I don't even know where the reel is. Maybe I'll find the reel and we'll watch the reel
That's fine.
actually, because it's like the first paid edit ever. So it's kind of fun
Okay.
to see.
Yeah, that's like where it started.
Yeah, the
you
difference
know?
between that and then 3 years later, some
Yeah.
of the reels that I put out now.
But it was fun too, just seeing you because you got started almost like. Would you film just at Cars and Coffee a lot of the times? Like
I
car
didn't
show?
even film it.
I
I
thought you
filmed like
at
at
Cars
one
and
of
Coffee.
them.
No.
Yeah, I went and filmed Zach and a couple of the cars at one. I made
Yeah.
like one reel, and that was it.
Okay. Because I feel like I remember seeing
hated
you like
shooting at car shows.
It's hard to do anything. People
And
ask me all the
so-
time, like, why don't you take car show photos? And I'm like, why would I?
Yeah,
Like, you can't control the environment. There's people walking around everywhere. Like, I can have a curated environment with a cool car. Why would I shoot car shows?
I used to think of it as more petty, but now like I just can't shoot at car shows. I can't shoot at events. If I can't shoot the car by myself, where I want to shoot the car, when I want to shoot the car, I usually don't shoot the car, and that can come across as very egotistical. But
I
I'm
agree.
like,
It's I just go to car shows to enjoy them now because I'm not going
and
to
it's-
take
it's fun to
photos.
see
I'm going to
people.
take photos that I want to post
yeah.
there.
And I'm at a point where I've gotten to be friends with the car owners. And so to go and just be holding the camera when these guys just want to talk with you and hang out, there's a lot of reasons why car shows are.
Yeah, that's why I hate vlogging at them too.
Yeah, I could
It
never be a
sucks, like,
vlogger.
making YouTube videos there. It sucks. But,
Yeah,
all right,
here's-
let's
here's
watch
the
this.
first
Let's see
reel.
it. Man, the whip trend, like just learning the speed ramping is the bane of my existence.
And
Was
by
that
the
a
way,
perfect loop though?
It was a loop.
Woo.
And but by the way, this was all edited in Premiere Pro.
Really, not even
This
After
wasn't-
Effects on that
I hadn't
one?
even touched After Effects.
How
yet.
long did that take you doing all that in
I'm not
Premiere
gonna lie,
Pro?
no idea, because you have no control over your timer mapping,
No.
really.
Premiere Pro
And-
sucks for timer mapping.
Yeah, so it's
Gosh,
basically
so that's
like,
actually more impressive that you edited it in Premiere.
Yeah.
That's better than my first one using After Effects.
you're like dragging the keyframes back and forth until finally you get it to like end where you want it to
Right.
end. And if you've ever touched any type of timer mapping or keyframing of speed in Premiere Pro, you know exactly why we never do that again. And
Awful.
repented of sins and have now moving on to holier
Graduated.
things.
Yeah. I've been using DaVinci Resolve a lot, and I have DaVinci Resolve the Pro, like the
Yeah.
studio version, and it's a pretty dense program too. I have
Yeah,
not even
DaVinci's
scratched
cool.
the service to use everything in there.
Yeah.
But
After Effects, just for specifically the niche that I'm into, is it's not replaceable in any way yet.
Mhm.
DaVinci has a lot of cool things, and I think ultimately it's like with cameras and any other type of gear,
Mhm.
even like PC versus Mac, Sony versus Canon, they all have strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
Even like editing softwares like Premiere versus After Effects versus DaVinci versus Final Cut, they all have different things that are better for certain scenarios. And I think the conversation needs to be, what do you want out of your work? And then you can decide what to choose.
Yep.
And until you get to the point where you have a style, you have direction, you know what type of content you want to create. It's like I say this coming from someone who gets asked a lot, hey, what's the best thing for me to, what camera should I get? What software should I use? It's like, well, there's a whole long conversation that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's up
what
to
do you
you.
actually want to do? Because
Yep.
depending on what you want to do, there's a best thing for what you want to do.
Right.
And there's no right answer, because
Yeah.
anything can work. Everything is so good now. Every editing software is really good. Every camera body, for the most part, is really good.
did the camera get too hot?
The camera got too hot and shut off.
Why is it? Technical difficulties. Overheating
broke it.
camera. It's kind of warm in here. I don't know how our studio audience is wearing a sweater at the moment. It's kind of insane.
Got a jacket on.
But I think we're at a point where we could swap to the next photo. But
Let's see
yeah,
it.
pretty much just pick the software that you're comfortable with
Yeah.
using, and pick the one that you're willing to invest the time to learn.
Yeah.
Because like they're so dense and there's so much to learn about it. Like just do the one that you're willing to put the time
Yeah.
in
And
and invest
DaVinci
in and
Resolve
get
is
really good
free.
at it. It is free.
just
If you
start.
want to use 10-bit footage, you do have to pay for it.
Mm.
So that's why.
Pay
So
for
I
it.
switched to DaVinci because I didn't want to keep paying for Adobe's editing stuff. It was like $30 a month. Then I downloaded it. Then I started shooting on the Osmo Pocket 3.
How are you getting it for $30 a month?
I have a student account.
$60 a
I'm
month.
still in college.
Gotcha.
Student account. Which one thing is awesome because I'm in like a media degree right now. I get the full Adobe suite for free, which is sweet. Even like full like access to everything for free.
Yeah, I pay,
Which is awesome.
I pay $60 a month for the suite.
Yeah. No, it's expensive. So I switched to DaVinci. And I was like, cool, I'm going to save $30 a month. This will be great. And then I put in my first footage of 4-bit
Or 10-bit.
DJI
yeah.
Osmo, or 10-bit DJI Osmo Pocket footage. And then it's like, this can't be, we can't color grade this because of it. So I was like, I had to spend
Is it like
$300.
$100
It's
one time?
$300 one time.
They've upped
But it's forever. So you
Yeah.
don't ever have to upgrade. And they're constantly updating. I'm
The
updating
same
it
as
almost
Final
like
Cut.
every
Final
other
Cut's
day.
a $300 one time.
Yeah. And it's awesome, which I appreciate that more because even Adobe, if you're in the subscription, it's like they still have you in a contract for the subscription, which is weird. So if you like are on a month to month, but then switch, like cancel it, they charge you for like half of the yearly subscription to cancel it.
Oh, I've actually never had that happen. I've canceled it a couple times to like get on.
It's a new thing. They changed it
deals.
this year. It's because I just
Oof.
went to, because I've kept just the photo video editing thing, but now that I get it for free from school, I went to cancel it. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, to cancel, you have to pay us $80 because that's how
All
much
right,
is
so
left
we're gonna
on
start
your
a new
thing.
podcast talking about everything we hate about Adobe.
Yeah, Adobe, what the So, no. Let's go into the next photo. Backstory is this one.
I
of
like
a
it. Where is
green
this
Porsche 718
This is not
Cayman
Idaho.
in Hawaii. It's on Honolulu. And
I like that a lot.
so one thing that was fun about this photo, I flew out to Hawaii and this company gave me this Porsche for the week. I was there just to in exchange for photos, and they gave me unlimited miles. So I put like 1,000 miles on that thing in
You
5
have to.
days, just circling the island over and over. But Hawaii, the speed limits are slow, but I mean, it's such a nice island just to drive around.
You mean the
Have you
speed
ever been?
recommendations?
Yeah. So, well, I went on a supercar rally in it when I was there,
Mm.
and yeah, I think we had like 140 miles an hour on the
Yeah.
Angels
Which
Highway.
was the speed limit?
Allegedly, we hit 140 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. Allegedly, but so I took
I have
this
not been
photo.
flying.
I had a couple modified cars there too, but then I parked this up and took this photo. And after I took this photo, I was actually standing up on a big outcropping of lava rock and just like looking at it. And it just like rained that morning because it rains every morning in Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
And I had a Sony A7 III at the time in the 24-70 G Master. And so it was like, at the time, that was like a $4,000 setup.
Yeah.
And I started climbing down the lava rock, and I could tell, I was like, I'm going to fall. I could just tell that I was. So I shifted how I was holding my camera, like anticipating it. Yeah. And then I took one step and flew. My feet went out from under me. And luckily I did, because I would have fallen like right on the camera if I didn't do that. Yeah. But I fell and landed on the lava rock, and it cut my calf. Ouch. And it just like put like a giant gash across. I actually have a scar on my calf now from it. That's exciting. And I felt so bad because my leg was just like bleeding everywhere. And now I had to get back into this Porsche, full Alcantara interior, bleeding leg. I just fell down this thing, almost broke all my camera equipment. It was not fun. And luckily no blood got on the Alcantara. But I was in shorts, of course. Like I didn't have pants. I could just like wrap up my legs and be fine. But yeah, so I have a permanent scar from taking this photo. So I literally bled for the shot, but I think it's worth it. I love how the clouds look, and I just love this. I think it's like lizard green, something like that, or emerald green, jade green. Jade green's the color on Porsche, and they say like nobody rents that car because people don't like how much it stands out. Really? So I'm like, that's kind of the point of renting an exotic car. Yeah. But even in this car, when I was just like downtown Honolulu, so many people were like, "Nice Volkswagen," and just like just talking crap to me, and I'm like, "It's just a Porsche Cayman."
You're like, you can't ruin my day. I'm driving a Porsche,
right? But it's like it's Porsche Cayman. It's not even like the crazy one either. Like it's a GTS version, but still. But no, yeah. So I literally bled and have a permanent scar from this photo.
See, most of us can hit like the sweat and tears.
Yeah,
level,
but not people.
But not a lot of people hit the bleed
for their work, and so I did for that photo.
Very nice.
All right, so let's go to your first reel.
Oh yeah, let's see.
I mean, technically second
we had
now,
the
but
first reel.
Yeah,
but now we get to see.
That's 1.A reel, but now we have 2.
Oh yeah, so this one is it's like my yearly recap reel. I think it was from 2023.
Okay,
so it's still been a minute. I didn't really post last year, so I have nothing to really show from last year.
You did take some time off.
But this one is just like a recap of all the cars, not all of them, but just some of my favorite shoots from the year. Okay. And this one, you'll see when I go through it, but there was a lot that I did in 2023. That was like the big year that I popped off.
That was a huge year.
Did like 50 million views on Instagram, and it was pretty crazy.
Which wasn't like a third of that, just that one video that you did with Need to Drive. Because that was like almost 20 million, right?
At the Supercar Splash. That one at the house, it did like 9.3 million views on.
Oh, I thought it was double figures. That one, but still almost 10 million views on it.
1.3 million likes, so the ratio on it was really good.
Right. That's an insane video, but yeah.
So this is the recap of that.
Check this out. Stradman's wide body Aventador. Love that car.
You'll notice a theme of a lot of Strad's cars.
You did shoot with him a lot. You never shot his Koenigsegg, right?
Not yet.
You have to get in there. Well, you shot a Bugatti, but you have to get in there before he sells it. Love RWBs. Yeah, that red Corvette, that's the footage that I borrowed to try to edit my first reel with. Hoonigan. Isn't that just up for sale now?
I am not sure.
Again, you guys don't know how hard this, like, the flow of the time remapping to make that, like, work smoothly. It's the biggest pain in the butt.
Well, it's funny because it shows you how consistent my shoots were over the course of like
you got your
an entire
down,
year,
you know,
because I can take shoots from an entire year, which this is what, like 15, 16 different shoots, and all the clips can be matched together just like they were the same exact shoot. Yep. And it took 2.5, 3 years for me to get the gimbal work down, because that for me is.
Oh, you should see the one wheel action this man does.
It's crazy. One wheel is fun. One wheel is fun. I've been traveling.
He literally just circles the car with the one wheel and just constantly focusing on different spots. And you just stand out of the way and let him do his thing. The one wheel, it's cool to watch.
Best camera purchase you'd ever make, but you wouldn't think
Buy one wheel. Yeah. Maybe you could even do some like makeshift panning photos, just like zooming by a car on the one wheel. I wonder if that'd work.
There you go.
I don't know. Just buy one wheel anyway.
Stuff to try.
Yeah. Right. But no, that's a really cool photo. And again, it's like you found the proper filming, like you have like your shot list that you get, and then it's interchangeable to almost any editing thing. And then really what makes these stand out is just like how well you can get the edit to work with the music, and also put like those style cues. And I bet the sound design is crazy on these videos too sometimes.
On
Just
the
getting all like
original
the
videos.
slices and the cuts and the stuff. Like the sound design can make or break.
Yeah.
I think one of these.
Shameless plug for all of Jerry's stuff, Jerry Media on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
because I've helped a little bit. I won't like put much credit to my name, but my name is on the software he's made for it. But he has extensions for After Effects to do a lot of the speed design and ramping and shakes and all
For
that.
sound design and stuff?
For
Or
the
for the
actual
footage?
edits
Okay.
and for Premiere and After Effects, he has one that does sound design. So you can literally upload. He has a bunch of preset and just like a library of music and sound effects. But you can upload your own, which what I'll use is I'll pull from all these other sites that I make stuff from.
Right.
I have my own libraries of stuff, but I'd have to like import that into every single project, click through them and hit space, listen to them, import certain ones. Now you just drag the folders into his software and preview it in like this little window where you can listen to what songs and soundtracks and all that you want. Click it and it just throws it in the timeline wherever your cursor's at on a new layer. And so you can just go through and scrub and do adjustments on things, all of your like sound settings instead of searching up effects for like a low pass, high pass, adjustments on volume. It's all done on his software. So he's made everything way nicer. And I don't pitch it because he's my friend and I wanted to make money on stuff. It's just genuinely, it saved me hours on every single edit between the After Effects stuff and then the sound design. Every edit is so much quicker now because it's just everything is streamlined.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with pitching a software that you know will help.
Oh yeah,
it's
incredible.
Friends or not, if it's a tool that helps, just use it.
Oh yeah,
especially for something that will take you hours and hours and hours and hours. Now, if you can find something that will cut like 5 hours off your workflow, especially if it's a paid shoot, because every hour you're working is less money you're making. And so if you can find software that can help you streamline that, it's worth the investment.
Yeah, and I say that as someone who doesn't promote stuff very often. I don't like take sponsor deals. I don't pitch things.
I've seen him turn down huge accounts of just people offering him
and OnlyFans.
like ask him to do stuff. A lot of OnlyFans models, surprisingly, asking to get some of those swoop reels for them boobies.
Yeah,
somehow.
I only like to do the work that I want to do. And it has to fit in value, and this is like the biggest piece of advice I'd give to people. And that's why I shared that reel. Is it just that was like my learning? Is I was like, this is who I am as a person. This is the type of style I want to do. I want to put this out there, and it's all about like, especially now that this style's become more like socially adapted. Like people are making this, and it's become like,
it's pretty streamlined.
It's everywhere.
Like it's pretty.
Yeah, like everyone's trying to do this now, as opposed to like a year or 2 or 3 years ago when I was getting into it. It was still pretty new.
Right. It was still like, holy crap! Like, what did I just see now? Like, you scroll through Instagram, you see a lot of the time mapping, swoopy, edits.
And
like that's
now it's way too saturated with people who are just trying to do too much, and that's why me posting a few videos, they've started to really blow up again. And that's the next reel that I'll show when we get there. Is I don't even add effects or anything on my videos, but just the cleanness of it.
Clean camera work, nice sound design, and that's it.
Clean sound, clean camera work, clean color grade.
Not the flash cut.
Yeah, you want to make it
crazy FX.
Nice.
Yeah,
and basically the point of that is you just want basic. Like you just figure out a style, you get your basics down, and you don't try and do too much because you can definitely do too much and you don't get good at one thing. Because when it comes to like a style, jack of all trades doesn't work at all. You have to kind of niche down and be like, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm going to focus all my time and effort and energy on this. Because if you're kind of good at speed ramping, kind of good at effects, kind of good at sound design, no one's going to watch your reel. But if you're really good at speed ramping and you suck at sound effects and you suck at doing effects on your video, you're still going to get more views than someone who's at like a half baked at each of those.
Right.
And that's where I started. Is I was known as like the speed ramp king from all these other guys who were editing, because they're like Kaden. They name it like a Kaden video. Like Jerry will do that all the time. He's like, oh, it's like a Kaden video, nice and boring. And he says as a joke because we agree there's like a certain style to what I do because I don't overdo it, but that still obviously provides the results that some of these other editors do that have their niche of like just effects, but they don't really do crazy speed ramping and tracking and gimbal work. Yep. And so you just kind of pick what you want, but get good at one thing, because that'll help you learn how to get good at other things. Eventually it branches, but
it's the best feeling when someone can tell it's your work just looking at it.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, oh, when I saw that, I knew that was Zach's photo.
Yeah.
Like, that feels good. Like you found your style enough where people like, that's them.
Exactly.
Like even today, like I was just scrolling through Reddit and, you don't know, there's this photographer named Kyle Fletcher. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but he's
never heard of him.
Really big guy in Florida, and I'm a video editor for him now.
Nice.
And I was just scrolling through Reddit, and then I just saw a picture of a BMW M5, and I was like, That's Kyle's photo.
That's Kyle's.
That's Kyle's photo. I even commented. I was like, Kyle Fletcher. And the guy's like, yep. I was like, there you go.
Yeah.
I screenshot that and sent it to him. I was like, dude, look, I just found your photo in the wild. But you can just tell that's his photo.
Yeah.
You know?
I get sent reels all the time of like reposts and all that. And Jerry's really big on this. And so a few other people in this community, they're just like, oh, like if you see someone reposting my footage, let me know. And like, I'm going to get them banned. And I have people send me stuff and I'll see all the time people using mine to like put in ads and things and literally just rip off the footage and like sell, like use this editing app. And I'm like, it wasn't even edited with that. Like, that's my video.
Edit on this CapCut knockoff.
Yeah.
Your photos can look like that. Videos can look like that too.
I don't contest it. I don't ever push back on it. I don't even comment on the videos. I just leave it because you go to the comment sections on all these videos of reposts and they're all like, this is Kaden stuff. This is Kaden stuff.
Yeah,
This is Kaden.
he did not use
everyone
that.
knows who it is. I don't have to go out there.
And it just looks bad on the company. So let them dig their own hole, right? You know?
It's probably like some Indian guy just
Probably. Just selling some software that he developed.
calling it a
somewhere,
company is kind of funny
100%.
when it's these little apps, but
Yeah.
that is, you just get good at it. You get good at one little niche. People start to recognize who you are, and you build a personal brand rather than just being good at the edits.
Yeah.
Because being good at editing is one thing, but eventually the styles will move on, things adjust. But if you create a personal brand and people know you for your style of work, that's where you become kind of trend proof.
Yeah.
Where it's
You
not
gotta
like,
sell yourself.
oh, like you did good in this one thing, but now that trend's over, you're completely useless.
Right.
You kind of ride the waves and people care who you are when you build it around yourself and a style and you rather than just copying other people's stuff. Because there's a fine line between inspiration and mimicry.
Yeah. Which is like, I'm all for people mimicking because that's the sign of flattery, right? But on that personal brand thing, I feel like that's why, like we mentioned, upholding like your morals in business too is so important, because if people will see that you're willing to do anything in business, then they're like willing to sell yourself for something, then they're not going to expect you to be a very like stand up person if you're willing to sell yourself to the highest bidder, you know?
They kind of hate it sounds really funny, but it's kind of like dating. Like you'll have 10 guys hitting on a girl, and then you get the one guy that walks by and says, hey, and then walks away and doesn't care. She wants that guy, right? Yeah. It's the same type of thing with high-end clientele in a way where you get a photographer who's just always says yes, never really pushes back. And, you know, they're like, this is really cool. What if we change this? Can you change the song? Like, can you drop your price a little? And they're always jumping and just like, yeah, I can drop the price. I can change this. I can do this. It shows the person hiring, and this is not just for me talking about clients that I have, but me hiring people to do work for me. If someone's always dropping themselves and don't have a value they can provide and be confident in the value they can provide, then they probably can't provide that value. Yeah. And so when
they need to hold themselves. Cause even, fun story, I like 3 weeks ago turned down Porsche. Porsche asked to use my photos.
Of course you did. You're bigger than Porsche.
Porsche reached out. They wanted the photos we took on the salt flats. And but they like sent me like a usage agreement and stuff, and they wanted like full usage rights forever, like with no compensation, like all the stuff when you read through the terms and conditions. And so I reached back out to them and I was like, no. I was like, I'm not giving you full rights to my work. Cool. Like it's cool if like Porsche wants to use my stuff, but I'm to the point where it's like I'm not going to give away my rights forever for just some post clout.
And you guys aren't like, no matter how cool your brand is, it's not worth me not getting compensated what I'm worth.
That's why I told him. I was like, we can talk about a licensing agreement. He's like, but I'm not going to give full rights to the photos. And then Porsche USA, the smaller page, reached out. They're like, can we just post this for the New Year's photo? Just use the one photo on this. So I was like, that's fine. Like obviously you give credit and stuff, but it's like, I'm not giving you full lifetime usage rights without compensation on my work. Cause it's like, I know what I'm worth. And I don't care if like, but I could see like a smaller photographer that took a really good Porsche photo and them just taking advantage of them and be like, cool, like we never have to pay anybody for this thing, and perfect, because they see the brand and they're like, awesome.
Yeah. And for the brand, it makes sense for them to push it. They're not bad for wanting to like get users.
They know they can take advantage of that.
Yeah, they can, and that's the thing is they'll push that and they'll promote that. They're not bad for doing that, but you also have to just educate the content creators to be able to recognize and to set up their own value and to have them be their own person.
Read contracts.
Yeah,
please read your contracts. Please. Which is actually a good segue. Speaking of not reading contracts and stuff, to my next photo is actually with this one right here I took.
Very nice.
Of this Maserati Ghibli, which isn't a very exciting car. You can go pick one up for $12,000 if you want, like, but you'll be spending like
I think I've shot at that
$30,000 of this is up near Centerville in Utah. neighborhood. But this was the first photo actually used by a brand.
Oh,
I remember waking up at 4 a.m. to a DM from Maserati about this photo, and I thought I was like getting punked for first, but then I saw the blue
You're like,
check
oh, no.
when blue checks actually meant something.
right.
Instead of just $17 a month, but blue check from Maserati in my DMs at 4 a.m. Just be like, what the heck? And this
Yeah.
was only about a year or so into my photo journey, because you can tell because I watermark it. I don't watermark
Yeah.
my stuff anymore, but I have the watermark on the bottom.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just took this photo. This guy's a weatherman in Utah. But one of my best friends, Jared, he connected me with him. He's like, this guy's got a Maserati. Let's go take photos. Like, so we went up to the top, took the sunset. And what was funny, I brought my entire PC to Jared's house. I was staying the night at his house.
Yeah.
I brought my whole PC, monitor, everything, like my entire editing rig, because I don't edit on laptops, PCs only.
Yeah.
And we set up my PC in his living room. He's like, I want to know how you edit your photos. So we sat like crisscross applesauce on his floor with my PC and my monitor up on a box. And we edited this photo just sitting there crisscross on the floor. And then this was the photo that Maserati asked for that I just edited on my friend's floor.
I wish I took a picture of every ghetto like editing rig that I've ever made.
Right? Like you edit in some of the weirdest places.
People see it now and they're like, "Oh, dude, you're so lucky. You have such a good setup." And I'm like, "You should see the I could probably go through my messages with you. We've sent setup pics back and forth, and some of them I'm like,
they're wild, they're rough, but it's content's good. Who cares?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so this was the first one that Maserati asked to use, and of course, being the young photographer, I was like, "Of course, take it here, sign my rights away right now." So I guarantee I could never make money off this photo ever. But when they posted it, they like edited out the license plate and put a European license plate on it to make it look like it was from Europe. And they did like some little like tweaks to it, but I thought it was fine if they took the license plate off and put a European one on.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
Because that's their main demographic, right? And but yeah, that was the first. Whenever I know, like looking back at my photos, I used to shoot things so wide because the subject is so tiny in this photo. So I would obviously shoot this in a different way now, but it was good enough for Maserati. And we posted to 7.5 million people, which got me a whole like 4 followers. And that's one thing you'll find too when you get your photos posted by big pages. It never translates to anything.
No,
it never translates. Like I would say maybe if reels pop off more, but photo wise, I've never had a photo used by a brand translate to anything.
It's because a lot of these big brands don't actually have good conversion.
Yeah, they really don't. Well, even like I think the one that got the most likes, I got posted by I think it was Nissan. Which has like 17 million followers or something on Instagram. Yeah. And I posted one of my GTR photos and I got like 90,000 likes, but out of 17 million people. And it did also translate to like 4 followers, I think.
Yeah.
It's not that really good of a conversion rate.
Yeah. But people can't really be worried about the numbers.
No, the numbers don't matter at all. Again, like I said, 90,000 likes, people hear that and think that's insane. But I'm like, but the 4 followers that probably don't even follow me anymore anyway, but.
The only numbers you should worry about are the amount of hours you spend every day.
Yeah. And like how fulfilled you feel.
Treating your body good, making sure that you actually enjoy life, editing, getting good at your niche. Those are the only numbers that matter. And then the rest of it, one day all of a sudden you pop off. And even if you don't, like some of the highest paid editors and content filmmakers, people who own a camera that make money from their camera, they don't even have social media, basically.
Well, the person that just took like the presidential portraits has 1,800 followers.
Yeah.
Like he literally took photos like of the president and vice president, got that contract, has 1,800 followers.
Yeah.
Like I have 4 times as much as him and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's just your skill and networking. Your network's the most important thing ever. Like I have all the opportunities I have now. It's just because I'm willing to talk to people.
Yeah, I have like 84,000 followers right now, and I can tell you the amount of people that I actually make money from and that are actually, for my business, valuable to me. It's like less than 50 people.
So small. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like your little niche group that you get that will consistently provide you business and recommend you, it's so small. But it's good to find those relationships and cultivate them.
Yeah.
Because they'll take you so many places. And like you be able to eventually travel around everywhere, go places. I'm even flying out in 2 days to go out to California to shoot.
Very nice.
A couple days just because the network you build and obviously you have to have the work to back it too, because network won't matter anything if you don't have anything of value that people want.
Agreed.
So get good. Practice your editing. Let's see the next photo.
I think we're going to a photo now.
Yeah, photo time.
Let's see. So this one, I just think this photo's sick because
it's cool. It's probably the best spot out of Falls too.
Oh,
They're putting a house right there.
Oh, no.
They're building a house in that spot. I went to go shoot there the other day, and they're building a house right in that spot.
Well,
I know, right? They're taking away the best sunset spot.
I'm retiring now. Like, how am I supposed to shoot my videos if I can't have this spot
I've shot
again?
so many places there since because we did the shoot together, and
that's right. Yeah.
I've used the spot so many times ever since, like that, just because you showed me this.
Oh yeah, but this is just cool because it's, I don't know. Ryan had me take the car out. Literally wasn't a paid shoot or anything. Just went out, hung out with you. I think one of my cousins came up and said hi for a minute. My brother came out and shot. It's just fun, and it's just one of my favorite photos as far as the vibe and the feel. Everything's just very soft.
It's so cool.
The sunset was immaculate.
The glow.
Yeah, the car's just cool. I want him to go back to blue.
Also one of Stradman's.
Yeah. Yep, this is right.
One of Stradman's cars.
And now it's all colorful. I want him to put it back to this.
I liked the blue. It looked nice with blue.
Yeah, it's just clean. It's just fun. Yeah. And there's not really a story behind this one other than that was just like the peak right before I started going really crazy on reels. And it was just it was all 2020. Oh, this is 2022. Very end of 2022.
Which there is a vlog on the channel with this. So if you look up the wide body C8 vlog,
I don't even
see the behind the scenes of it.
Might have to go watch.
Wow.
That
Yeah, I vlogged the whole thing on it. Sick. And FI Exhaust actually asked me for the clips because of the exhaust on this thing. Sounds insane.
FI, yeah. This car's still in the family, so we got to do more with this one.
Yeah, it's got crazy colorful wrap on it right now. Very polarizing.
We just took the Christmas lights off today.
Polarizing would be, I guess, the best way to describe that wrap on the car.
Yeah, Zach Sather just took the Christmas lights off today, so we're gonna maybe take the wrap off in a week or two. We'll see.
Okay. No, yeah, I loved that shoot, and that location was so sweet. And
too much fun.
Yeah, I was actually gonna share one of those photos too, but then I saw that you were sharing that one. I was like, I'll switch it up. I'll pick a different one. And my next photo of this orange R8, which is like very beautiful, gorgeous, is one of those wraps. So if you look really close, it's not. It's a really bad wrap. Like if I zoom in, you can see the line of the film on the hood. It's rough, right down the middle. He didn't even try to wrap the hood in one piece.
Yeah, don't tag whoever wrapped that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tag the owner, but this one was one of the most embarrassing shoots for me because this was in Lehi, Utah, and I really wanted to shoot on Utah Lake. Or how far away was it? It was like 30 minutes away. Like I wanted to shoot at a different spot, like 30 minutes away. And the guy asked, like, is there any way to keep the shoot in Lehi? Because like I want to take my wife to dinner right after. I was like, this location would look amazing with the color. It'd be so cool. Like, can we just like go there? Like it'd be awesome. Like I promise it won't take long. And he's like, okay, cool. So we drove 30 minutes out of his way, went down to the location, shut up. I left my batteries and SD card in the hotel.
Oh no.
And the hotel was in Lehi where he wanted to take the photos.
Boy. So he's just like, why?
No, for real. He showed up and he was nice about it. But that was one of the most embarrassing. Being like, no, please drive 30 minutes out of your way and now 30 minutes back for these photos that you wanted to do in the location where my hotel was.
That's,
Yeah, so we had to drive 30 minutes back, go to the hotel, and this building in the photo was one of the buildings outside of my hotel. So it was actually like a perfect location-wise, but if I just would have stayed in Lehi, then I could have easily just walked over to my hotel room, grabbed my stuff and walked back out and not delayed him by 30, 40 minutes.
That's rough.
So we had to drive all the way back, get the stuff out of the hotel room, shoot for like 10 minutes and then get him on his way because I felt so bad for wasting his time. And so please check your gear. Make sure you have everything. Even just coming to record this, I triple checked all my stuff because I was like, I don't want to drive out of my way, make Kaden take time out of his day to then show up and not have the gear I need. Yeah. Luckily, you have enough gear where if I forgot something, you probably would have a replacement.
We have some stuff here.
But yeah, so that was probably one of the most embarrassing shoots.
Yeah, I've been there and done that. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I did that.
It's a rite of passage.
I think I've done that twice. Once with an SD card, once with a battery. Mm-hmm. And I talked to North Borders about that. He posted something on his story about like losing a battery. Yeah. And so I replied to him and told him my setup currently, which is I think I have 4 camera bags, 2 of the big Peter McKinnon ones, 2 of the smaller ones that I kind of mix and mingle gear in. And I have, I think, somewhere between 12 to 16 batteries, like Sony batteries, and I keep 3 batteries in each bag.
Nice.
And I have SD cards that sit in each bag. I have like a different SD card holder for each one.
I have a huge chunk of SD cards that just like
Yep. So
I keep with me 20 all everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's one that usually, because the A74 and the FX3 have dual slots, and so I usually keep an extra in the camera, but then I also keep an extra battery and SD card in each of the bags, because I've forgotten so many that I'm like, you know what? And unfortunately, there's better options now, but this Sony batteries were like $60 a piece.
They're expensive.
And
even second,
I
even
bought
like
12
the
of them.
off-brand ones are like 50. Like they're not cheap.
The best ones now, shameless plug for something I make nothing on, but the newer batteries are rechargeable USB-C, and they're like
straight into the battery.
Yeah,
That's what I
straight into
have
the battery.
in this right now, actually.
Yeah, and they're 2 for $30.
Yeah, they're great. At least we don't shoot Leica. Leica batteries are like $300 a piece.
Oof.
But that's what you get when you
Stay Sony,
spend $7,000 on a niche camera.
Yeah. Eventually, I'll be as cool as Peter McKinnon and shoot Leica.
I do want to, dude. You don't know. I'm just doing my taxes today and being like, with my tax return, I could maybe get a Q2, or at least pay for half of a Q2.
Right.
Then I bought a watch instead, so it's fine.
It's a good watch.
It is a good watch. Too expensive.
Yeah, that's really funny. We love the shoots that you learn lessons on, which both of yours you've learned lessons on. One, don't fall. The other, bring your SD cards.
Prep like wear good footing, because I just had like I think Vans on with sneakers on wet lava rock, and check
Dress
your gear.
For the gym when you go to shoots.
Yeah, no, wear good sneakers, or even like I love these boots. They're Sperry hiker ones. They're like $50. They're one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever bought. So
I just wear the Gore-Tex, hikers. So I got waterproof.
Great ones. Which is funny, these black ones, Amazon only carries. Sperry doesn't carry for some reason. They're out of stock on Sperry's website, but Amazon carries them.
That's funny.
So it's great. But yeah, so that's that photo.
Sick.
Do the next reel.
Oh yeah. Now we're moving on to one of the last reels that I shot last year. The K truck.
Love these things. So yeah, Garrett and all the team here just imported a ton of K trucks, which you guys saw the vlog of us off-roading them in the snow. Posted that. They're such fun little cars. And I know the studio audience loves them also. They're nodding.
Yeah, it's way too much fun. This is a fun little gas station shoot.
Like I said, yeah, you're not doing any that one warp is like probably the most extensive edit.
Yeah, that's
thing.
Like
but this is all just like putting like the bloom filter on the lights. Or do you shoot with a mist?
I
filter?
shoot with a Pro Mist filter, a 1/8.
Okay, so the lights already kind of look like that. You don't have to do
didn't
any
even
stuff.
add any other.
Nice. As much as you can do in camera is important.
Yeah, that
saves you so much time.
Yeah, the Pro Mist filter lives on my lenses. I never take it off.
This seems so cool. I love the K trucks. They're so fun. They get so much attention just driving around town. Just like, especially from old people. Old people love them. Like when we took all the ones out with the Christmas lights, I was just grannies. Grannies taking photos the whole time.
Yeah. So like I have a bunch of funny stories with these K trucks because every time I take it out somewhere, always someone who talks to you. At the time I didn't have a Snapchat, but my buddy who was in the truck with me did. We got 2 girls Snapchats from it. We were just driving. They were in the car in front. And they were like trying to show us like through their phone through the back window, and eventually like got out and like
gave you their snap.
Had my buddies zoom in to like take a picture to get a snap. And I don't know if he talks to them or not. Who knows if I made a marriage happen by owning a K truck?
There's your secret, people. Buy a K truck if you're single.
But I've also like my sister and I just take them out for fun. Like I daily mine. I think I have
over
over 1,000 miles on mine.
I mean, I don't fit in them. And so the shifter's a little hard, but
they're fun. I've dailied it. Like I went to Walmart with my sister once just to grab something, and we went in the store. We're just in the middle of Walmart walking around, and some dude comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, like, did I see you get out of the truck that's out there, the little truck?" It's like, "Yeah, man." And he was like asking me about it. Got contact info because he wanted to buy one. I went to go register at the DMV, and I'm like sitting at the like private booth. You're not supposed to just go up and like talk to people. This is like older
personal information.
Yeah, he just like comes up to me while I'm literally signing paperwork and stuff, and he's just like taps on my shoulder. He's like, "Excuse me, like, do you own that K truck out there?" It's like, "Yeah." And the lady at the window, the DMV worker, is just like really weirded out, like, about to tell this guy to
come
leave.
Up here, dude.
And I was like, like, it's mine. This is this. While she was filling stuff out, I like wrote down a phone number to give to him to like buy one, and I think they
sell themselves.
Dude, we just have a shipment of like 5 more coming. They were all like, I think like 2 or 3 people paid upfront cash for them like months ago. And so all 5 of those sold out. We're going to try and get more.
Are you trying to sell yours though?
I might sell mine, and I'm going to probably, I'm just going to take the cash, use it for some other things right now, and then swap it into another one.
Nice.
That I'm going to build in Japan.
Do a full build? You're going to build it in Japan?
Yeah.
And then ship it over? Is it cheaper to do that?
Yeah, getting like
Build it
paint
and then
match
import
and a
it.
bunch of stuff. Yeah, to get wheels and just things that match the K trucks, it makes sense. It's
Right. You can probably
easier
source it
there.
a lot easier over there.
Yeah.
Where it's pretty niche here, especially for ones that size.
Yeah, and then I do either on this one or the next one, or do an engine swap. That I'll probably do here
Hayabusa?
locally. Maybe like an old R1 motor. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a shop here do that, do some trade work or something to figure that out. Because
Okay.
to do like a lift, suspension, and like that type of mechanical work, I want it local so that I have someone who can help me troubleshoot problems. If that gets
Yeah.
done in Japan and then we bring it over here,
Maybe
I'm like,
warranty on the
Yeah.
work a little bit.
yeah,
Something.
But-
a little more hands on. No, that makes sense. Instead of
they're
just
just
having
fun.
some,
Like literally the best thing I've ever bought.
they're so cool. And they're great in snow.
Oh,
They're
it's
great.
phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
way better than I thought they would
They're
be.
so good. And you even got like yours down in a ditch and you just like backed out.
Yeah, back it out or like
Because they're all wheel drive, most of them. So
you
they're
literally
great.
could get it stuck, like as stuck as I could get it. You put two people in the front of it pushing it, and it'll just pop right out. And
Go look at the vlog that we filmed. Like he got his in like a nice ditch and literally just pushed it out.
oh yeah,
Because they're so light.
we had like 4 people on it, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, like we didn't even
It
need
literally
everyone to
just
do
moved.
this.
It was great. It was awesome. No, those things are so cool. And I get what you're saying on that video, how just like more clean that edit is compared
Yeah.
to other ones. Because like you don't need to put a ton. Like you did that one melting warp effect, and that was like I
Yeah.
think the only
It's like a
thing that
glitchify.
glared, and like the tracking the text to match the perspective.
Yeah, and I hadn't posted in months, and that reel did like 60,000 likes or something.
That's
so it's
awesome.
like you don't need to do crazy things. It's because it's that style and it's smooth, and you just master the basics. If the video has no problems and people just watch it and they're just like, oh, like I can just watch this and it's easy to watch, that's what you want to go for. If there's like little stuttering or there's too much going on, it's hard to read.
Yeah.
And especially if you're pitching to
That
brands.
makes their brain notice something, and they're like, oh, like
Yeah.
you want it to just flow. And that's like why I think like your style took off, because it just flows easy and it's just a vibe.
It's easy
you
to
know?
watch. And
Yeah,
that's why
it's easy to
brands are
watch.
interested too. And I'm starting to do a lot of stuff with Nomadic, have more things right now in the works with them and some things we're going to post. And just, I have a lot of businesses that hit me up for things. And it's because the videos are clean. And they'll specifically tell me like, dude, like this style's cool. Like I've been looking at this for our business and I think it's really like, I want to do this. I want your videos, because some of the other guys, they'll usually name like Jerry and a couple other guys that they're like, their videos are cool, but they're just so like chaotic. We like yours because they're simple. They're easy to watch. You can see stuff. You can read all the text and everything.
Perfect loop king here too.
Yeah, looping. And that's the type of thing that'll, one, like just mastering the basics will set you apart, but it's also what brands are looking for. So if you want to go viral, blow stuff up and like go crazy. But if you want to like actually pitch to brands and to have things be consistent, and honestly it's way faster for me to edit these videos than if I were to go crazy on it. So you're getting better results for less time and effort and honing in skills. That's where it's at.
Yep, 100%. Keep it simple. You know, the whole KISS.
Oh yeah.
KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. And yeah, like even my photos, I try not to go too crazy. My philosophy is just cinematic. I try my photos to look cinematic. My edits like have 4 like masks in it.
Yeah.
I literally mask the car, the background, and I do an exposure pull from the top and the bottom, and that's literally it.
Yeah.
I do 4 masks in my photos.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll do and then I'll touch up spots in Photoshop.
That's
That's
the key
literally
of
it.
being
Like I
someone
keep
who's
it
a
basic,
master
and some
of
people are like, I
exposure.
don't know how you edit that way. And I'm like, I keep it so basic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just getting the color grading down pretty much.
Yeah. As much as you can do in camera is better.
Yep.
So what's nice about the FX3 is I can display LUTs. And so I'll shoot an S-Log 3 mostly, and I can just immediately open it up. I do everything by eye. I'll do my exposure manually by eye. I'll do my white balance. I just flip it. I don't use a card or anything.
I have been starting to do that now, manual white balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to just leave it auto and trust it. But then sometimes I'll just be like, man, this is just straight purple out of the camera.
I like using white balance for style. Like if it's a sunset shoot, if you're doing auto white balance, it's going to cool it down a ton to try and get it all right. I actually bump it up higher because I like to get real orange vibes from stuff. Or if I'm shooting at a gas station, your lights are super going to be like really cool. I'll cool it down even more.
Right.
So when I
Drop
go
it down
back
to like
and edit,
2,000 Kelvin and just,
maybe not that far, but like
no, drop it down.
drop it all the way.
2,000. Make your own blue hour happen.
Exactly. But that's the thing is it's a style. And you can't have style if it's auto, because style requires manual effort and intention.
That's why so many people reach out to me and ask like, can you give me tips on these photos? And I'm like, I don't know what's technical and what's
Yeah.
a choice,
Yeah,
you know?
what
So
did
it's
you
really
wanna
hard
do?
for me to be like, oh, well, you need to take this and bump the texture up because that's what I would do in my photo. It's like,
Yeah, well,
No.
before you even get to the edits, like, did you choose that location? Did you choose to shoot at that time of day with the car here so the shadows are here? Like, how much of it are you trying to fix stuff because you were in a rush and you're trying to manage things, or you're trying to relight, or are you just trying to like, hey, this was perfect. I shot at the time of day, the right way I want to. Everything's good. I just want to like make the colors and stuff. There's just so much flexibility. It's kind of hard to give general advice to people.
Yeah. That's why I just critique the basics. I'm like, yeah, your framing could have been a little bit different here. But but lately I've been trying to play with my framing, like do unconventional framing in a lot of things, like throw stuff in a weird corner somewhere and stuff. Cause again, like unlike the video where you want it to just be a smooth flow, if you're cycling through and then there's a photo being like, oh, like that just like catches your attention real fast, be like, oh, why is that there? Like that actually looks really sweet. Like that's actually a good thing almost with photo to like have one that just like pops and stands out and you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Because that gets me too. Like I had one guy, I was scrolling through his photos. I'm like, oh, these are really cool. And then he had one of a GT3 RS wing on the side of the frame coming out the left and like only not even all the way to the third of the frame. And I was like, that's an insane style choice.
Yeah.
But that's what got me to stop and share the photo to my story and stuff. Because I'm like,
oh,
that's a sick choice. It's a sick choice to do that. So yeah, find your style and frame it weird. Have fun.
Yeah.
But get your basics down, please.
Yeah.
Like just learn rule of thirds a little bit.
Yeah.
Watch some basic editing photo videos, something. I think we're on my last photo now.
Beautiful.
Let's check it out. So there is this one.
I do remember these.
Of McLaren Senna Aventador SV. These are really fun. So this whole day was kind of a whirlwind a little bit. I was originally supposed to shoot these cars and then at a private airport. And then the owner was like, so the cars aren't here and not available. And so like I have my GT500 Eleanor Mustang. So I got to shoot that on the airport instead, and we didn't even think we were going to be able to take these cars out or do anything with them.
Yeah.
And I was able to get this really sick shot of the Eleanor with like a private jet flying over it, coming down the runway. It was one of my favorite photos I've taken. And then he was like, you know what? Let's just drive to my house. Let's go get the things. Like maybe we can scramble and find a different spot. We didn't have enough sunlight to take him back to the airport. He's like, but we'll just find like some road to throw him on. And this is in Park City, Utah. And there's two cars and one of him. So he's like, Zach, come with me. Because I was the one that I was organizing the shoot and he trusted me. He's like, come with me, and threw me the keys to the Aventador SV. And he grabbed the McLaren Senna and we just drove off through the Park City with snowy roads, snow everywhere. The looks that we got driving these through just the back roads of Park City, which was funny enough. This Aventador SV was his winter car. It's his only car that was all-wheel drive and it had winter tires on it.
Yeah, there
Even
you
his
go.
truck, he didn't drive his truck in the winter. He drove his Aventador SV to like the store and stuff. So this guy's just straight baller.
You got to do it.
Oh, right. But yeah, we just found these like roundabout roads that seemed pretty low traffic. So we just straight up parked the cars here. We're like, this is fine. This works. And the amount of traffic that we had to like move the cars out of the way because just for some reason people just kept coming around work and we were like, come on, like constantly. And Aventadors aren't fun to move around.
No.
With like their transmissions suck, especially at low speeds and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I hated moving that, positioning it every single time a car came.
Yep.
But yeah, again, the looks that people would just turn the corner and here's a $2 million worth of cars just sitting there on the side in the winter. It was like 20 degrees outside. But this was just such a fun time. This is the first time I got to drive an Aventador SV, which is my all-time dream car. Like an SV Roadster is pinnacle for me. And yeah, this was just such a fun shoot. Got to shoot like 3 dream cars that day, drive that car and just do something that you would just never see.
Oh yeah.
Which there was a vlog of this too back in the channel like 2 years back. So go look for that also.
Gotta watch all Zach's videos now.
Go see the really old bad vlogs for me probably because
I don't think you ever did glad vlogs. At least from the ones
I watch my first one sometimes and I'm like, ooh, why did I post that? But you have to do that. Like even the first podcast, I hope this is a big quality step up from the first one I shot because a lot of lessons learned. But you got to do it because a nice little thing to put out there is your first one is going to be your least viewed one, so it's okay that it's the worst. Right. Because it's going to be the least viewed. So put out the worst one, and then you know that the bar is set, and it's going to be the worst video you ever make. Yeah. And it's only uphill from there. Yeah. So put it out there. Be courageous and put yourself out there.
As long as you can learn, posting is always better than not posting.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, what was the phrase I heard today? That perfection is the enemy of good. Nothing's ever going to get perfect. Don't wait till it's perfect. Just post it, and then you're going to get good eventually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, doesn't matter if it's perfect.
It's like with white balance, exposure. There's certain things that become like riding a bike where you just do it. People are like, how do you set your this exposure, this white balance manually? Like, how do you? And I'm like, I literally just open the camera up. I look at it. I flip through stuff. It's just so autopilot now that eventually you just get to where you're like, oh, this is my routine. Get my basic setup. Now I can now I can be creative.
But there was a time when you had to really pay attention and learn it and actually like go watch a tutorial on how this setting changes it. But the nice part, if you shoot mirrorless now, you can see on camera what it's going to look like. If you shot like an old DSLR, you'd have to take the photo, see what it did,
or like
take
film.
the photo. Or film. Like I've been shooting film. That's just... You'll find out in 2 weeks if you did it right. Yeah, you'll find out in 2 weeks. But yeah, like with the mirrorless cameras, it's kind of hard to not get your settings right because it literally tells you if it is.
Yeah.
Like, so again,
the screens aren't that good, but they're good enough that if you just eyeball it, it can be fixed
99.
in post.
It's 90% of the way.
If you're shooting S-Log or RAW. There's so much flexibility. It's something you really shouldn't worry about. If you look at your screen and it's blue, change it. But if it's kind of close, then
And don't try to fix those in post. It's so hard to bring color balance back.
But if you get it within 1,000, then you're good.
No, I've tried to save some photos that got way too far in that, and it just doesn't look good. It makes it look like muddy if you try to get the colors back. So get your balance right. And so this was just such a fun day driving around Vendor SV in the snow and hanging out with Damon, which he's been on Stradman's videos a couple times.
Black and white.
What was that? This isn't black and white.
Well, it's not black and white, but I like the black and white vibes. It's not a black and white
That's
photo.
just how the colors were that day, man. It was just, that's overcast, cool maybe just flat. Which now I think this sent us down in Orange County somewhere. I see photos of it on Reddit a lot of just being like, hey, that's the one I shot.
Nice.
Which I think this was originally Alicia Keys's.
Interesting.
Senna. Just fun little random tidbit. But
very nice.
All right, let's see your last photo, Kaden.
Or the last photo. So this one's cool.
Let's finish strong.
Because this is also not like, I think it's in the same location as the last one too, up on the hill. This was just Caleb, Solstice Visions. He's now rebranded his Instagram to just his name, Caleb Brokaw. I convinced him to move out here like a year and a half ago, something like that.
He interacts with a lot of my stuff still.
Yeah, so
he's cool.
I've gotten a couple people to move here to just do work with me and to just vibe.
Right. It's a good spot. I know it's good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Don't come here.
So this one was with Jaden, and it was just me and Caleb wanted to go out and do a shoot. Jaden is always super helpful and just like allowing me to use his car for anything I've wanted
Jaden's
to.
really cool.
So that's why this one's cool to me. Is this is just one of my favorite photos of his car that I have. Yeah. But if you go to my Instagram, he's literally my 3 pin posts that make it like a try photo. It's his car. Yeah. You scrub through my Instagram, it's almost like I own the car.
I mean, when you find that person that you like working with, like that's me with my friend Matt with his Porsches, or Chandler Carson that we shot on the salt flats with. It's like my feed is it's his, because like I can just text him and be like, can I take your Ferrari? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah,
let's just go. Like you just find the people that you like working with, and Jaden's really cool. All the shirts that I make with my logo, he printed for me.
Yeah, so he does work with me all the time. Does design work for me, helps me print merch and whatnot. Does 3D printing, helps me wrap vehicles. I get him jobs for that sometimes. So
he's a jack of all trades with a lot of things.
Yeah,
he's great.
And so it's just like a staple to a lot of the things I've done, and a lot of the work and opportunities that I've been able to have kind of stemmed from him just letting me, like even learning how to drive supercars and get to the point where I was comfortable just doing anything.
Right.
Like I drove his car by myself down to Utah once, just on a trip, just took it down for a car show, shot it for like an entire week. Another time we went to a Cars and Coffee. I just called him and was like, yo, like you want to bring your car out to this? And he's like, I'm busy, but just come and take it and you can have it for the week. Yep. And you went with me and we went, and he was like washing it out in the front, handing me the keys. This is the first time I'd ever driven
literally just went to his house and just grabbed it.
Yeah.
Took it out, and then we took it for a photo shoot. It was fun right after that,
Took it for a photo shoot out at the Anderson Hitch Building. We went
got
to like
followed
3
by
spots.
cops.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Well, we weren't even doing anything crazy, and we just like literally got followed to his house by a cop, and we weren't speeding. We weren't doing it. We were just chilling, and he followed us all the way to his house for no reason.
That was weird. Sketchy. That was weird. But yeah, so like it's just a testament.
GTR is what, like 800 horsepower, 900?
Like 950 to 1,000, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Crank or wheel?
No idea.
We'll say crank.
It's fast.
It's fun. It's fun. Shoots good flames.
Yeah, it does.
Liberty walk body, hit on it. This has been like, I feel like this car is a staple of Idaho Falls, because Jaden's had it
he's had it for 5 or 6 years now. 6
years now.
At least.
And he also built that on YouTube too. He had a YouTube channel that he doesn't really do anything with anymore.
Yeah, wide bodied it.
He was like the OG Idaho Falls YouTuber. I feel like
Yeah.
with now I popped up and Zach Sathry popped up in there, but there's not really much YouTube content creators around here. Then there's Chandler.
Yeah.
Does it here
Chandler's
and there.
one of the biggest I know from around here.
Yeah. And he's just here and there on there. But
Yeah, he'll be posting again now. But
that's good.
Yeah, that
Are you
shoot
going to be
was
working with
just,
him again? Helping him out?
I've helped him set up all his stuff, and
Okay.
probably gonna have other people just do editing for him. But yeah, that shoot is just fun, and that car specifically is a testament to like kind of my upbringing. You just see it. It's like as soon as I start popping off, his is like the first clip pack that I sold. It's one of the first reels I ever did on Instagram that popped off, and it's just cool because it also shows I care way more about the relationship I have with the people who own the cars and actually shooting the cars themselves. Especially you get to a point in time where if I were to try and use my network to get where I want to go, you can shoot any car in any location that you want ever, and it's really easy to make money. It's really easy to get places, and I'm really disinterested in just meeting people for the sake of meeting people and meeting people because they have money or meeting people because they have some kind of high position in society or
People
whatever
can tell
it is.
when you only want to associate with them
Yeah.
because of what they have or their
Yeah.
status with it. That's what you see. You probably see that a lot with like, because you have a decent relationship with James, like Stradman.
Yeah.
He has to
at
be
least
so
used to,
cautious
yeah.
with people that want to hang around him because it's like, well, he's famous. He's a famous YouTuber. He's got all this
Yeah.
stuff. Where it's like, if you just show like, you're just a cool person I want to hang out with and I like you for the person you are
Yeah.
versus what you can give me, quote unquote. It's so much like it's just such a meaningful relationship, and people can sense the genuineness of a relationship. You can really tell when someone's just trying to hang out with you for what you have.
Yeah. If I had the chance to shoot crazy cars, crazy people, go to parties, just be out there socially, and then like hang out and go to dinner with like 3 of my homies, I choose the homies every single time.
100%.
If I need money, that's one thing. But if you're comfortable in a position where you can kind of choose where you want to place your time, then the time always has to go to the people closest to you, and that's going to pay off long term. Because I'll shoot with companies, I'll shoot with people, and the relationships kind of come and go. Sometimes you shoot a ton with these people, but they have their own life and they have things going on. And no matter how good of a person they are, they have to prioritize what they're doing. And if they're not,
Also, if they have small businesses, they probably can't feasibly constantly pay for content, because it's expensive.
But you find like the people who, and for me, it's people who I don't have a financial connection to really, that like Garrett and his younger brother Ryan and Jaden and these people I'll just do trade work with. Like Garrett, I rent a room at his house to keep my whole office set up, and I don't pay him. I just trade him work, and I do it like a really week for him, and that gives us a chance to hang out. I don't have to pay money for a room to rent stuff. He just gets content and gets to post things, and it kind of fuels his fire to
It's
get
a
him
mutual
making things.
symbiosis of
With Jaden, he helps me do merch, does all those design things and all of that. I shoot his car, get to take it out, have fun.
Yeah.
We both just enjoy it. And those are the relationships that eventually, like the content from that and the relationship from that fuels other people and businesses and the things that actually make me money and make that side of the success.
Right.
Those come as a result of me enjoying my life and being comfortable where I'm at. And it creates the confidence. I can walk into a room and I'm fine turning things down, and I'm fine sitting, here's my value, here's where I'm at, this is what I want to do. And I can do that because I know what I want to do. And that all comes because I shoot this content and I spend this time with the people I want to spend it with. And so then when I do go into the business realm, it's really easy to not be taken advantage of and to just know what I want out of life because I'm living it. I don't have to go to work one day and hate it to come back and like just suffer so that I can have fun. You can kind of balance it and you can enjoy what you do. And for me, it was not going to college and spending my time and money other places. There's infinite ways for you to generate how you're going to spend your time between work and enjoyment, but there has to be a balance that prioritizes real relationships with people and actually wanting to live your life for good reasons.
Yeah. I think it's about doing stuff without expectation.
And
I literally just, I want to do this because I just want to do it. Like, I don't want anything in return. Even like one of the shoots I'm doing when I go out to California, the guy, I reached out to the guy being like, hey, like I would love to shoot your car. Love it. Like, it'd be great to do it. And then his first question obviously is like
how much?
What's it going to cost?
Yeah.
And I was like, literally you're taking time out of your day to give me, like, you're paying me with your time to give me the opportunity to one, have this, but then also network with you and build this relationship. And I'm straight up with them. I was like, look, if you want a tip, sure, whatever. I was like, but I find so much more value in just networking and having like, you're literally paying me with your time. So even though like I'm doing work, quote unquote for you.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to do that for me. Like I'm asking for you to give me benefit.
Yeah.
And so I have zero expectation of him paying me for that work, but then that changes the relationship from transactional to something that can you actually start building a friendship with.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I just want to meet some cool people.
Yeah.
You just happen to have a cool car, and that's the conduit that we're using to originally meet.
Yeah.
You know?
And sometimes you can transition it, but you just have to be transparent with people up front. So if you're in that situation and let's say he owned a business that could benefit from your work long term, more so than just like the one-time exposure, you come to him and he's like, hey, how much for this shoot? And you're like, the same exact thing. You're like, dude, like this is super sick. I'm glad that you're willing to spend your time for this shoot. I genuinely just want to meet you. I think this is a really cool opportunity. I'm not expecting to get paid for this. I just want to shoot it and I want to enjoy the time out there. If like actually paying for footage and like having like some kind of relationship with content and me providing that value to you is something that interests you, we can have that conversation. Like when we're in person, I'd love to chat with you about what that could look like. And the thing is, there's always questions. You don't just like throw out a price. They're like, hey, how much is it? It's like, okay, we'll come back and how much do you want? What type of content?
What expectations do you have with
what
the
is your
content?
actual end? There's a whole list of things. I'm probably going to do a coaching
You have to
program
know your own
on.
worth. On that, you know,
but it's
value your time. I hate people that do shoots for $20.
Yeah.
Charge more, please.
Either do it for free or do it for what you're worth. There's not really an in between.
No, it's such a bad playground here doing content for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been having to real stick. Like I charge probably about 5 times more than the next photographer does here.
Yeah.
That's because I know that's what I'm worth, and I can charge that in other areas.
Yeah.
But here, like, a lot of people just go with the kid that has a camera and will charge $25, and I'm like, nah, my rate's 250 base, and they're like,
yeah,
like ooh, but that's what my time's worth.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But it's there's a balance.
But also your friends that like you've supported, a lot of times they want to pay you your full rate anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what I found too. Like the people that you're saying, like, I will do this for free. A lot of times business owners know the value of your time, so they'll pay you anyway.
We lost it.
That camera just died too. Yeah, I probably just died.
We're so close.
Yeah.
So yeah, knowing your worth, charge what you're worth.
Exactly.
After we're on, this is camera number 3 now.
Yeah.
Overheating.
There's one in the fridge right now.
Yeah. This one was just in the fridge, so it shouldn't overheat, but we're going to wrap this up now.
So
But
funny.
no, those are awesome photos and video. Kaden, thank you for coming
And you
on
as
here
well.
and sharing those backstories. It's always fun going deeper into photos because a lot of people are just like, oh, that's cool, but getting actually into the backstory of something and knowing how that was built and what happened behind the scenes, like me cutting my leg open. And
I wish
no
I had
one
more
would
war
know.
stories like you. Mine are just like, oh, like that was a fun experience. I remember these things. And yours is like, I had to bleed and sweat and I lost things. My client almost fired me because I left my stuff at home. Like your stories are literally like, you have PTSD? Are you doing good?
I'm okay.
You look through
my
your Instagram
my
reel.
therapist gets paid good, but yeah, but that's why this podcast is a thing now, so I can have
This
all
is
these
your
stories
therapy.
to share.
It's like, I can get it all
I
out
can
now.
Talk about it. You guys are my free. Actually, I'm making money talking about my horror story, so thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
But no, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Kaden. Obviously, guys, if you don't follow him, which I don't know why you wouldn't, like, come on, go follow Kaden at Getting Creative. Obviously, link down below. And yeah, thank you for joining on episode 2 of Conversation with Creative. Kaden, thank you so much.
Of course,
Appreciate you being
we'll do
here.
it again.
And see you in the next episode. Peace.